Hello and welcome to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And a big shout out to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is It's All About Dating. And guess who's here with me? Lori Mendelsohn. Sadly, Lori is leaving the channel. She's got other wonderful things that she is working on. So we want to thank her and let's bring her out. Hi, Lori.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. There you are.
I can't believe it, Lori. We've got a great guest who's backstage, but it's our last show together. We've had so much fun.
We sure have, Dr. Jacalyn. You know, I was just thinking if you were going to ask me which one is my favorite show and which one was the most challenging and which one was the most noteworthy, and I have a whole bunch of them. What about you?
Well, I want to just share that before you were a co-host on the show, you were actually interviewed, and I interviewed, and you were phenomenal. You were phenomenal. In fact, your video has one of the most views, which is just goes to show you, you have so much to offer, and you've accomplished so much in the dating world and outside of the dating world. So I've also learned a tremendous amount from you, and I just love that we laugh and have fun. But yes, there have been some shows that really stand out, which we can't mention any names or people or places, but there have been a couple of shows that I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
Oh, so Dr. Oh boy, now we're getting that slow replay again. I hate
You're talking really fast again. There you go.
Oh my God.
But, Lori, I would love for you to share what the experience has been like. You know, what's it been like being on the show, and what will you take away with you?
I think, Dr. Jacalyn, the thing that stands out for me the most was developing our friendship and knowing that I could call you, not at any time, but you know, I could call you and ask your professional opinion on something, and that was very important to me. And I hope that will continue. And
Absolutely.
I think, you know, I think that I have learned so much from you, from watching you, from being on air, so to speak, and just learning how to listen a lot better, which, you know, as a Jewish girl, we don't listen. We just, you know, naturally our tribe just talks among, you know, over everyone. No one ever gets to finish a sentence, and we're all trying to outdo each other and talk over each other. So it's really, this has been a big lesson for me to just remember I have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and to use my ears twice as much as I use my mouth.
Thank you, Lori. That was really beautiful. I appreciate, you know, a big focus for me is to help people learn how to listen, because I feel like most of my life I wasn't listened to. So I started running these listening seminars, and I love watching people watch the role plays, and they'll say, wait, that's me. That's my husband. That's me. That's our life right there. How did you know? So, but that's for a conversation for another day. But so It's All About Dating. We've been doing this together for, what episode number is this? Do you have it handy?
No, I do not, Dr. Jacalyn, but haven't we been doing it? Well, we did the variety show together.
That's right.
We did the variety show. And so you and I have been working together since, I believe, March of this year. So it's been a while. It's been, you know, a few minutes.
It has. It's been great. And you and I will still be in touch. I'm sure we'll do something else in the future. But for today, we're focused on dating. And we've got a great guest. Elizabeth is backstage now. And I know that you and she had met. I don't know if it's met or air quotes met. So did you meet on Clubhouse?
We met on Clubhouse. We met in the men's tribe. And when I heard her speak, I was really impressed by her. And I'm also very impressed by her energy. And as I went on her website, came to find so much more out about her and the value and the knowledge that she brings. So I'm really excited about meeting her in person. So yeah, let's welcome her.
Let's welcome Elizabeth. Elizabeth, Anneka, Queen of Touch. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Dr. Jacalyn. So nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. Hi,
It's a
Lori.
pleasure to have.
I'm kind of in I seem to have caught up now, but if you
Cool.
ever see me, moving and the words don't match, I really am not strange. Well, I am strange, but it's not me. So it's
Well, we're listening to what you have to say, so don't worry about it. So Elizabeth, did I say your last name correctly? Is it Anneka?
I say Anneka, actually.
Oh,
Definitely.
Anneka. Thank you, Anneka. I appreciate that. And you're joining us from where today? I know it's 707.
My area code is not where I currently live. I'm in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, very nice. Pretty out there.
Yeah.
And I love the handle Queen of Touch. So I'm going to spotlight you. Do tell us, what does that mean?
Well, I teach men how to touch women the way women really want to be touched. And I figured, why not just claim myself as the Queen of Touch, since what I do in my work is to create kings of touch. Men who are really, really intuitive, who are very tapped in, who are very connected to the sense of tactile and kinesthetic turn on with women, and are able to really understand what a woman wants at each stage of intimacy.
Wow. Hallelujah for that. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
finally.
Yes. We have had some really interesting topics on this show, and this is a great way for us to close out with Lori. I love it. This is a great topic. So how did you find yourself being compelled to bring this messaging to the world?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I could tell it over a campfire and over an hour and some s'mores. But the short story is very circuitous. It begins with a background that has nothing to do with intimacy or touch. My academic training is in nature conservation and marine biology. So I worked in sustainability and saving the planet for maybe a decade or so, and then transitioned slowly into coaching. And while I was making that transition and taking classes in neuro-linguistic programming, which is one of my main modalities, I was dating a man who had this ability to kind of read my body better than any other partner had. And when I asked him how he did it, he told me. And it was a simple, straightforward way that he had kind of I don't want to call it a hack, but I want to really give him credit for having been able to basically find cues in a woman's body and breath and react and body language that let him know what she wanted. And it was just the most remarkable experience that I've ever had in terms of intimacy. And I realized that if he had taught himself that it was a teachable concept. And all this while I'm learning these behavioral rewiring, neural repatterning techniques in my coaching. And I thought, well, this is totally a group of people. Men really want to know this. Women really want men to know this. It's a lot easier than having to decode a bunch of cryptic body language and texts and words. And if I can give men a very easy path toward understanding what women want, especially when it comes to touch, then I will be doing a service for all of humanity. So I decided to do it.
Elizabeth, we have his phone number. I want to get a hold of him.
Yes. And is there a hot list? Where is the list of men who have taken this coaching from you that we can call out to?
It's
under lock and key.
Oh my God. I have a question, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen, and I'm going to assume you have because this is what you're expert in, is, the show Goop, the second season, the third episode. Yeah. Have you seen it?
I have just Goop. That little trailer has just come up on my Netflix homepage, so it's on my list. But the one that I was watching recently is one called Sex/Life. That's about a married woman, and the intimacy hurdles and things that she goes through with her partner. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely on my list. I will let you know when I watch it and see what I think.
Dr. Jacalyn, have you seen it?
No, I have not seen this show, but I'm putting it down, writing it down right now. So it sounds
Let
like
me just briefly describe it. So this woman is a sexual healer and a sexual practitioner, and she and her partner are so aligned that they did a demonstration of him. He really wasn't even touching her. He was doing like Reiki above her, and she is like going crazy. And I'm looking and I'm talking to my dogs. I'm looking at my living room where my TV is. I'm talking to my dogs and going, this is what I want. Where the hell are more men like this that without even touch?
That's hot. That is hot.
So hot.
Oh, now I have to say, there's a song, I don't know who sings it, and I'm just going to sing. It's not going to sound great, but Body Like a Back Road, Driving with My Eyes Closed. Do you know this song? Yeah. I know every curve of the by the shape. It's like, it's every time I hear that song, I'm like, whew, gotta calm down. But the guy knows her whole body, right? He knows it. And that's what it sounds like you're talking about. That, and Lori, you're saying you don't even have to touch a person. Oh, so that's another level of intimacy, friends.
My stars.
Whoa! Getting hot in here. I've got to get out of this house. Okay, back to the show. So, Elizabeth.
Hold on, I got a bottle of water. I'm just going to dunk it on my head.
I'm taking this jacket off. Elizabeth, can you share with us some common mistakes that are made when it comes to approaching a woman that's, starting to touch her? Like, the first thing that comes to mind is the old fashioned go to the movies, arm arounds, right? That was always a big one. So I don't know what people are doing in the dating world because it's been so long, but I'm saying there's some common mistakes that people make in touching another person. So can you just share some of them and then we'll get to what they should be doing?
Sure. One of the ones I see in dating that happens is like, say, first date territory, first, second date territory. You're connecting with someone, it's going well. If you're the man, like, you might be a little nervous about exactly how to make contact on a date. In this day and age, it can be a little bit tricky to know when and how to touch a woman. And so you just kind of don't for most of the date. And then when the end of the date comes and you're saying goodbye, you'd like to maybe have a kiss, you kind of move in for that without any, like, laying any groundwork of physical contact before that. And it's laudable to have the guts to move in for a kiss, especially if you're nervous about it, as a lot of us are in the first kiss moments. But what you really want to do is have developed kind of a kinesthetic connection before that. And there's energetic reasons for that. Like, if you're already getting close enough to somebody to be able to touch their arm, their lower back, put their arm around you when you're at the movies, you're giving your date a sense of, like, where you are in space. You're giving her a sense of what your touch feels like already. You're giving her a sense of the fact that you do want connection with her. And so when the kiss move comes, or when the kiss moment comes, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's not a surprise to either one of your nervous systems or skin when you're wanting to get that close. And so in general, I suggest, kind of with every stage of intimacy, be it the first kiss or the first makeout or the first moment where clothes are coming off, that you want to be, like, looking at that like a ramp that you're leading up to, and not just like a ledge that you're going from one level of intimacy suddenly jumping to this other level of intimacy. Give it a build, and you'll do yourself a favor, and you'll give her a better sense of, like, who and how you roll.
Fantastic. Do you mind if I send you a list of names of people who need to hear this? So I just want to share the last date I was out on, which was a long time ago. I knew the guy for literally 20 minutes. We're with other people, and he starts playing with my hair. I'm like, what are you doing? That's why I go, what are you doing? So he stopped doing that, and then he starts rubbing my lower back. And I was like, you just don't get it. We just met, and how'd you go from this to this?
Yeah. Hair is a good one for later. Like hair is actually a really great way to start like connect with a woman, but it's not a good first step because it's a fairly intimate place on us, you know.
Yeah, it's because nerve endings are there, right? We start to feel things in other parts. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
am I giving away secrets? Sorry, I don't want to
Well,
say.
I mean, hair's a really good way to turn a woman on. Like, you know, he maybe had the right idea. He just had it too soon.
Right, and so is the lower back. But I feel
Yes.
like you need to have some trust that it's okay to go there.
Yeah, lower back I really like as a place to touch because it signals both safety and sexiness.
Mm-hmm.
So like it does a neat two jobs in one. And it's I think I often say like that's good early date territory, not necessarily first date territory, but like through the door, like putting a hand on the lower back just lightly at first, but with some, like, this is the trick to physical contact, especially in the early stages, is that you want to show that you have charismatic touch, that you're not shy about the touch that you are giving. Like once you're putting your hand on her lower back, like you're helping her through the door. It's not this little tentative tickle.
Right.
I'd like to ask Elizabeth, do you feel that men should be asking for consent now? Because, you know, a lot of men are very confused. When do I start? Should I ask if I can kiss her? Should I ask if I can touch her? Or do you think that it's okay for a man on a date and they're reading the woman's body language correctly, which that could be a whole other show. But if they're reading the woman correctly, do you think that there should be consent? Do you think that they should ask, is it okay if I kiss you? Or should this be a discussion, or should it just be a natural flow of the date?
This is the age-old question, Lori. Like this is the like the Cohen of our times. Is like to consent or not to consent. Ask for consent or not. What I am finding is a number of things which can help a man find his own place with this conundrum.
Yeah.
Number one, if you are a man and you are uncertain in any way about whether or not your touch is wanted, then you owe it to yourself as much as to her to ask her. Because if you're standing in front of her, not knowing if, say, she wants a kiss or not, your body is experiencing nervousness and anxiety, which is a kind of a deal breaker. It's like kind of a little bit of a buzzkill for intimacy. So you're already like putting yourself in a little bit of a tough spot, because you're asking, you're inferring, you're assuming that you should be able to guess what this woman wants, to guess what this human in front of you, who's full of so many quirks and idiosyncrasies and has come from a background you don't know, who has hopes and dreams you probably don't know about yet. She's a mystic creature in front of you, and you are expecting yourself to be able to read her mind. If you don't feel confident that a woman wants your touch, then you owe it to yourself to ask, to get clear about that. So you know that you're welcome in that place with her. And the thing that a lot of men say is like, oh, but like I should know what she wants, and I'm not suave if I have to ask. And yeah, I get that. Like we've been fed a lot of rhetoric around how there's no asking. Like in Disney, no prince asks. They just know that she wants a kiss now, and suddenly she does, and it's this amazing moment where the crescendo and the sunset and the birds and all the things. But the truth is that a lot of women would really love the opportunity to have that question and to be able to like be asked for something that no man has been asking them for yet. So there's this whole, like in the women that come on my women's panels, the women that I interview, they're like, no, ask us, please. Like, please, I'd get super turned on if a man asked me if I wanted, if I wanted a kiss. And there's cute ways to do it. There's really cute ways to ask for this like next level of like connection. And I would say that if you're a man and you're on the dating circuit, or if you're a woman and you're kind of getting your you're wanting also to figure out where you stand with the man in terms of making contact, because it does go both ways. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean your contact is always welcome from him. So as you first start to ask, and then you like start to see like how your hunches compare with the data that you got back when you asked, and then you learn body language, which is a language and it is learnable. But I don't think that anyone should be expected to mind read, especially in the early parts of knowing somebody else. So in these early stages of connecting with someone else, you have no idea like what they've been through. You have no idea, and they can be giving you all the right signals, and hopefully they are, and they could still be a surprise lurking, and they could still come off wrong. So I would say, when in doubt, ask for consent. And then as you get to a point with someone where you feel really, really like reflexive with them, where you're very attuned to their body language, where you're picking up on more and more subtle cues, like eye contact, eye deflection, skin tone, flushing, like temperature, like things like this that like most of us are not, and lay people are not really reading into, then maybe you get to the next stage.
That's great.
Woohoo! And I'm glad that you mentioned also goes the other way, because what if the woman wants to touch the man, right? That actually has happened, right,
Totally.
Lori?
I used to be
Yes,
on a date once where I was sitting next to a guy and I really wanted to put my arm around him, but I wasn't sure if he was there with me, like in terms of that kind of connection. And so I asked him, and he was like, yeah, of course, go for it. I was like, cool. Like that, I just modeled the thing that I teach. Like this is that moment where if I'm not sure and I do it, and then I'm suddenly like, if I'm in this unsure place, I'm like, oh shit, now I'm just going to be continually like watching, and what is he doing after I put the hand there, and like now I have to, but it's like, why waste calories doing that? Like my calories are for connection. Like I want to connect with this person. That's not a way to do it. It actually distances us, even though there's physical contact, if I'm so unsure that I keep questioning it.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm thinking too, a man who I went out with this summer, we had held hands, and he had his arm around me, and he was rubbing my neck, and I was leaning into him, and I'm purring, and it was, the whole, and the date came to an end, and we said goodbye, and I just looked at him, and I said, can I kiss you? And he said, hell yeah. And so our glasses, we're both, glasses came off, and, it was a nice smooch.
Nice.
And then we
That's
levitated,
awesome.
6 inches, and it was beautiful.
Oh, that sounds great. I love that. I also like the go-to hand on the thigh, because the hand on the thigh is one thing, but then if the hand starts moving or stroking or something, and then the hand's moving up the thigh, that could be a no, but the hand on the thigh could be a yes.
Yeah, I usually say like I talk about the physics of touch. There's pace, place, and pressure. And in the early stages, you want your the amount of time that you touch to be light and quick, like wherever it is, even if you're just like getting her attention or something. I often like to say, if you're standing in line at a coffee shop or the deli or whatever, stand next to her, touch her forearm, and then point to the menu. So you're making a physical connection and then like drawing her attention somewhere. Same sitting next to, like at a concert, oh my gosh, like quick hand on the thigh, look at that. It's not a hey, like I'm holding your hand, which is way later intimacy. But it's like, hey, like here I am. I like I'm connecting with you. Look at this thing. Like let's go over here. Like ha 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 ha. Pairing these things with humor is also really good.
Wow. I love it. So many good tips that you're giving us. We need to take a break. And Lori, in honor of you, I know I played this last week, but I'm playing it again because it's such a great music video. Nothing is wrong with me. And it is our one of our guests, Sam Sarah from the UK. She is a singer and songwriter. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll be right back on It's All About Dating. Hello, and welcome back to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads, and welcome to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. Our show today is It's All About Dating. I'm here with Lori Mendelsohn, and it will be our last show together, which I'm sad, but so glad that we've had this journey. And we have a wonderful guest, the Queen of Touch. Elizabeth has been giving us so many wonderful tips, and we've had some fun. It's been getting hot in here, but this is really a serious subject. It really is. How to touch a woman, or how a woman touches a man, but I know your focus is basically on how men touch women, correct?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. So, Elizabeth, how do people work with you? How do they contact you, and what does that engagement look like?
Yeah, I have a really great website. If you haven't checked it out already, I recommend you do. It's howtotouchwomen.com. So howtotouchwomen.com. There's a really easy, like, lovely thing to sign up for there that'll get you on my newsletter, which will keep you up to date on what I'm offering. But I've just finished a 6-week program that's a group program called Art of Touch, online, super fun. A small group of men who are able to just meet weekly and talk about how they show up with women, and then get the kind of information that I'm giving. And then I also work one-on-one with men online. And so that happens through my private coaching arm, which you have to sign up for, like a phone call, so I can make sure that what you're bringing is something that I can help you with. And if that is so, then I'll invite you to work with me for a multi-month container of coaching. Those are the main ways that people can work with me. And then if you just kind of want to get in my world and see a little bit about what it is I'm bringing, I have a private Facebook group, which is right now specifically for men to talk about touch. And you'll hear about that once you sign up on my website, howtotouchwomen.com.
Thank you so much. I just posted it on all the platforms. It's a pretty hot website, by the way, from Bumble to Bedroom. I love that, with the hand on the back. It's very sensuous.
Very, very.
So what do you mean there, from Bumble to Bedroom? Fill us in on that.
Well, so that's just kind of the majority of the men that come to me are often, divorced and dating. And so the hurdle there is getting the date to go from kind of, the app, which in this case, I'm using the word Bumble as like a stand-in for both the app and the sense of bumbling, which we often feel in the beginning of dating, to the bedroom, which is, where a good connection, romantic and intimate connection, usually wants to go or is headed toward some kind of further intimacy. So how to go from Bumble to the bedroom is kind of my cute way of saying, let's talk about how you can actually show up as the, strong masculine man that you are on this date, and lead a woman, powerfully and compassionately to these deeper stages of intimacy, where she feels seen and safe and sexy, which are all the ways that women, which is what women really want to feel, and men really want that too, because that gives the best kind of connection between. So it's my manual for how to go from Bumble to the bedroom.
I love it. Please go ahead.
What do you hear are men's biggest fears in this?
The consent piece is big right now. Does she want my touch or not? Then in further stages of intimacy, there can be concerns about performance, and whether or not that's a big turn on or turn off for women. I think for men, and here's where I would like to maybe dispel a little bit of the stereotype. At the beginning, we're all joking about where are these men, and who are they, and can I get their numbers? And what I find, and the clients that come to me are just incredible humans who want so very, very much, and have wanted so very, very long and so much to know how they can really connect with a woman, and they just haven't had that. Nobody's teaching it. The main information they're getting is from porn, or media or just a bunch of like noise, like signal noise, and it's like difficult to make out like what it is that women would actually like in the realms of touch. And so I don't know that I would say that men are so much afraid as just they haven't been given the right code. They haven't been given the path yet. And I think we can't blame them for that. Like we also have a role in this. Like women also have a role to hold. And on my website as well, if you identify as female and you would like a little guidance on how to ask for what you want in bed, I have a manual on my website for that too, which is howtotouchwomen.com/ladies. And so that gives you the steps to kind of discern what it is that you want, to be able to ask for it, to practice asking for it, because often, even if we can know what we want, which is its own whole like conversation, like getting the words out in the moment is sometimes the piece that we personally struggle with. And so I work a little bit with women as well, but my main focus is with men. And I would say that they are ready. Like the men are so ready for this. They're so hungry for this information, and women are so excited that I'm doing this work. And so I just feel like I'm like really the paradigm is like very, very potent right now to like expand into really insane levels of pleasure around touch.
It's a touchy subject.
It's a touchy subject. Yeah, totally.
Something I just want to throw out there. I remember, again, I'm not dating anyone, but when I was and girlfriends were dating for the end relationships, you get the phone call after the date. Well, what happened? Did you make out? Did he touch you? Did he try to do this? Did he try to do that? Oh, that's great. That's a great sign. Or, no, he didn't try to touch me. What? What's wrong with him? No, it must be me. He doesn't, he doesn't like me. I'm too. So it's a lot of mixed signals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, should you touch or do not? It's very confusing.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd say like, if there's a connection on a date and you're interested in intimacy and like there's romance between you guys, there's a connection, then make a physical connection. Like do it with, do it with charisma, do it with kindness, do it in this like, fun, like sexy way. But if you don't, she will probably get the impression that you are not interested in more. And so I say that like, even if it's just a little touch on the arm and like go from there, but like make some kind of connection, unless there's literally no connection.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And you talked earlier about this ramp. So back in the day, whenever that was, and Lori and I have talked about this, there was like the 3-date rule that you went from 0 to everybody's doing everything in 3 dates. So how have things changed, if at all, today?
Well, I mean, there's the whole hookup culture, which is like, it's like centered around like first date is fourth base.
Right.
But then there's still a lot of people who would really rather like still do the ramp, like still do first, second, third base over several dates. I try not to decree like a recipe in terms of like this on this date, this on this date, this on this date. I think it can depend a lot on what kind of dates and how long they are. What I go for is more like, what is the felt sense of connection between two people? Like, are both people leaned in and like showing up as like excited and invigorated to be with each other and to take it to the next step, and then take it just one more step. Don't go from kissing to intercourse. Like there's a lot of territory in between. There's a whole human body in between that has so many other places to touch. And that's kind of my big theory my big point is that men have gotten the idea that there's like the main areas that you want to go for to turn a woman on are her breasts and her nether regions. And women would rather be like caressed in many different places before those parts of them really want to open. And so a lot of what I'm doing is just kind of decoding the things that women aren't necessarily even sure of within themselves yet. And I think that's another thing that I'm really like wanting the world to live into, is just like, we get to decide, like we get a voice in this. We're not silent partners in, intimate experiences. But sometimes it can be really hard to just say, like, can we pause for just a second? Like, can you this instead? Can you like this instead? And we just kind of like go along with the pushing trajectory, instead of kind of saying like, hey, like, I'd actually prefer to keep my pants on for a little while. What about
Wow,
that?
what about that as a concept?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So here's something else I just want to throw out. I was on a date with someone, and it was like a whole day. So
Okay.
we had an event in the evening, afternoon, etc. So at the end of the day, the person told me how much money he had spent for that date, and that he actually considered that to be 3 dates. And because it was 3 dates, he was expecting everything. And I thought, oh, this is very interesting. And I thanked him for his creativity and for the financial analysis. And sadly, that we will not be consummating as you wish that we would be right now. And I didn't see that person ever again. We regret to inform you.
After having analyzed your analysis.
So
that's an interesting.
I guess that's a one-off situation, but yes, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, and I mean, just playing devil's advocate on his part, that might be like, he's also like probably getting to the point where he feels quite connected, and he's like, given my sense of connection, I would imagine like this is possible with us. And he could have just been a really done not a very great job at branding the request, branding the conversation. His marketing department might have been offline.
Yes, because it needs to be a value for value exchange, right? For branding.
Well, and I mean, like, it's true. I mean, yeah, but I totally hear you. I don't think I would have been very enamored with that proposition either. And generally, I say like even if you've had like this one amazing day with somebody, I personally would still want to be able to separate and go and like kind of like just reconnect with myself, and like just like check in with like what actually was between us, like before consummating, like even if it is this incredible connection. And so yeah, I think everyone to each their own on that one, but there's certainly I think for women like a bit of a feeling of like, oh, like he really wants this, maybe I should want that too. And there's still a lot of really amazing territory that happens before the act. And so
yes.
Yeah.
But so I do have a follow-up to that, and Lori, I want you to weigh in on this as well, because I'm not sure if it's just in my dating life, and there's some kind of correlation between the amount of money the man's invested and where he expects to be physically. So if I buy you shoes, or if I buy you a bag, or if I take you to this 5-star restaurant, I expect this, and I expect it now. So is that unusual?
I don't know that I have that belief. Like, I don't know that that's something that I experience. So I don't know if I can speak to it. I think that seems to me like something that feels very like a throwback to the transactional nature of how women and men, the stereotype being that like women give sex to get like financial security, and men give financial security to get sex. I very much want to like live into the new, like design, lean into, create, experience a new paradigm where like it's not like both are offered without strings attached for the other, like where like it's actually just like an offer and an experience of connection. So again, I can see how a man is like maybe going through a little bit of like a protocol assessment in his mind. Like maybe this is like somebody who's a little bit more like systems oriented is like, okay, well, first date should be this, and then second date should be this, and that should be like financial outlay plus, like physical connection outlay, and here we're gonna go further. But yeah, I don't know how to speak to that. It's not really something that I think that comes up often for me in the clients that I have or in my own life.
Yeah, Jacalyn, I think that it's definitely our generation. And I also think that when a woman really values herself, and if a man buys shoes and a bag and flies her to Las Vegas for the weekend, that if she values herself, she can dictate when it will happen and not feel a sense of obligation. And I think that that's what you're also talking about too.
Definitely.
Is that, if he buys me X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to use the words put out, right? We've got to. And when you are so secure in yourself, they could buy you a car and you can just say, that's a beautiful gift. Thank you. And
amazing.
You don't have to sleep with them.
I'll be driving away and not seeing you again. No kidding. I remember I was on a date with this guy. I had a really good time. This is years ago. And we were in this beautiful restaurant. Everything was going so well. And he told me at the end of the date what he expected. And I said, I'm sorry, but I'm just getting to know you. I like you. I mean, we could go there. I'd like to just take some time. And he said, well, I'll buy you shoes and I'll buy you bags. And I said, thank you, but I don't need you to buy me shoes and bags. And he said, well, and this is how long ago, this guy was older. He said, I have a whole Rolodex of women I could call right now and buy them shoes and bags, and they would give me what I want. I said, well, I guess you'll be calling them because I will be leaving you. And that was the end of that.
I wanted to throw something in here too. And I always tell my clients who are men that I believe that really to get into a woman's bed, and by that I mean be intimate and develop an intimate relationship, it's important to get in her head and get into her heart. And you don't do that by buying someone things. You do if that's all they're after, but you don't get into a relationship that has any sustainability unless a woman feels valued and safe. We've spoken about that, and connected and desired. So, that's a process. It takes time.
Yeah. And that also can be like the love language thing where some people's love language is gifts. And that does make them feel like seen and valued. Mm-hmm. But it's certainly not the only way to roam. And that is the 100% the men, there need not be a large financial hurdle for you if you're willing to be attentive and show up and ask good questions and then shut up and listen to the answers and then ask another good question and then shut up and listen to that answer. And women there's an adage that says women want to feel connected to have sex, and men want to have sex to feel connected.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be this large existential, he doesn't like me unless he's getting sex from me, or she doesn't, she's not putting out and therefore I'm not into this. It's just kind of we're just wired a little, step A comes first and then for some, and step B comes first the others. It's not really, doesn't have to be a large judgment game. And the piece about the obligation, I mean, I just wish people could be in the rooms where I have these conversations with men, because the thing that they would be they would just want to die if they knew that women felt obligated to have sex with them.
Yeah.
That's if you just kind of put yourself in their position for a moment, decent humans, that's not something anybody would want, it's really actually kind of cringeworthy to imagine that happening. And so if you as the woman are feeling that, there's a really, really good chance that your partner doesn't know it. And so that requires and begs a conversation that really both of you guys either one should be able to initiate, but if he's not, then that's on you. And if you need help with that languaging, like download the manual from my website, howtotouchwomen.com/ladies. Because really at the end of the day, like, we want to be able to talk about touch to the people who are touching us. And we really, like, women really want this like very, very deep sense of bliss and pleasure. And men really want to be the people that can like show up and give that reliably and durably and like sustainably. And so we both want the same thing. Like, we both want this thing. And so let's get it.
Make it happen. Woo! Let's just do it.
Get it.
Wow. Queen of Touch, it has been such a pleasure having you here today. And I put all your information onto the social media sites, so we're good to go there. For people listening on the radio, do you want to just share again how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. Yeah, it's howtotouchwomen.com. howtotouchwomen.com if you identify as a man, and then if you identify as a woman, howtotouchwomen.com/ladies. And I do have a lot of roles for women in the work that I'm doing. I have regular women's panels where I bring women together and ask them, and like where men can join the call, ask questions, and just have a chat about what kind of touch is wanted and not. And then I have women as guest speakers in my private Facebook group. So there's a chance for women to be involved, and there's really so much that men are excited to learn from women. So if you're a man out there, definitely get on my email list so that you're made aware of all the things. And if you're a woman, please know that men really, really care about your pleasure, about our pleasure, and you have a role in obtaining that too, and like realizing that. Thanksgiving has come early. Thank you, Queen of Touch. I appreciate that. we look forward to seeing you again on this show or any of our other shows. Thank you very much, Dr. Jacalyn. So great to meet you. And Lori, I'm so great to see you. I'm so great to see you. So happy. Yeah, totally. Hugs all around. Thank you so much. Bye, Elizabeth. Bye. 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 Oh, thank you, Lori, so much for inviting her to the show. I know you have a hard stop. Thank you so much for being such an incredible co-host. I'm getting a little tears, but you and I will stay in touch.
We will. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. For sure.
Thank you. And I did put your contact information into the comments. So
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Take you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We've had a wonderful day of broadcasting. I'm just going to share with you our shows for tomorrow. I'm not going to give you the times because we have so many different time zones. We have Life's Amazing Journey starting first. Then we have The Power of Etiquette and Manners. Then we have Get Lucky with Meredith Allen. Then Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure. And the United Kitchens following that. And then we have a very special event with Tony Moore, who is releasing his new single, Never Gonna Say Goodbye. We'll be seeing that right here tomorrow, I'm sorry. And then we have the Listening Mentor. Then we have Presenting Pet Psychic Amina and Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. So I'm going to close out with Tony Moore's song. I can't play Never Gonna Say Goodbye, although I have it, but I can't play it till tomorrow. So I'm going to play his song, Route 66. And then we will see you hopefully joining us for all of our shows starting at 9 a.m. running through 5 p.m. If you are in the UK, just add 5 hours to that. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.